The Haunting of Blackwood Manor. Many years ago, Blackwood Manor stood proudly on a hill overlooking the small town of Millfield. The grand mansion was once home to the Blackwood family, known for their wealth and mysterious ways. But over time, the house became abandoned, and rumors of ghosts and strange occurrences spread throughout the town. People said the manor was cursed, and few dared to go near it, especially after dark. One night, a young journalist named Emma decided to investigate the truth behind the stories. She had heard countless tales of ghostly sightings, disembodied voices, and eerie lights flickering in the windows of the deserted house. Determined to get a gripping story for her newspaper, she made her way to the manor just before midnight, armed with only a flashlight, a notebook, and a camera. The moon was hidden behind dark clouds, and the wind howled as Emma approached the mansion. The iron gates were rusted and creaked as she pushed them open, echoing through the silent night. The house loomed over her, its once majestic facade now weathered and decayed. Ivy crawled up the walls, and the windows, cracked and dust-covered, seemed like lifeless eyes staring back at her. Emma took a deep breath and stepped onto the porch, which groaned under her weight. She reached for the door, and to her surprise, it swung open effortlessly, as if it had been waiting for her. Inside, the air was heavy with the scent of mildew and something else, a faint, sweet smell that she couldn't quite place. The grand foyer was dimly lit by moonlight seeping through the broken windows. Dust covered everything: the old chandelier, the staircase, and the walls lined with portraits of stern-looking Blackwood ancestors. Emma's footsteps echoed as she walked through the hall, her flashlight beam cutting through the darkness. She began to explore the house, moving from room to room. Each one told a story of a place frozen in time: a dusty library filled with ancient books, a dining room with a long table set as if waiting for guests, and a parlor where the furniture was shrouded in white sheets. But the deeper she went into the house, the more she felt an unsettling presence, as though unseen eyes were watching her every move. As Emma entered the drawing room, she noticed a grand piano in the corner. Its keys were covered in dust, untouched for years. Suddenly, she heard the faint sound of a melody, a soft and sorrowful tune. She turned around, expecting to see someone at the piano, but it was empty. The music stopped abruptly, leaving only silence. Emma's heart raced, but she convinced herself it was just her mind playing tricks. She continued her investigation, taking notes and snapping photos. However, as she climbed the staircase to the second floor, the temperature dropped sharply, and she could see her breath in the air. She paused at the top, her flashlight flickering. The hallway was lined with doors, some slightly ajar, revealing glimpses of the rooms beyond. Emma felt a chill run down her spine as she walked past them, hearing faint whispers that seemed to come from all directions. One door, at the end of the hallway, stood out. It was slightly open, and a faint light glowed from within. Emma approached cautiously, pushing the door open. Inside was a nursery, filled with old toys, a rocking horse, and a small bed. The air was thick with the sweet smell she had noticed earlier, like flowers that had been left to rot. On the wall was a large portrait of a young girl with sad eyes, dressed in a frilly white dress. As Emma examined the room, she noticed something odd. The rocking horse was gently moving back and forth, even though there was no breeze. She stepped closer, and the movement stopped. Suddenly, the door slammed shut behind her, and the temperature plummeted even further. Emma turned to the door and tried to open it, but it was locked tight. The whispers grew louder, echoing off the walls. Emma's flashlight flickered and then went out, plunging the room into darkness. Panicking, she fumbled with the flashlight, but it wouldn't turn back on. The whispers turned into faint giggles, the sound of a child's laughter echoing in the small room. Emma's eyes darted around the room, her breath quickening. The air felt thick, suffocating, and the darkness seemed to close in on her. She backed away, bumping into the small bed. As she turned, she saw the figure of a little girl standing in the corner, illuminated by a faint, otherworldly glow. The girl's face was pale, her eyes dark and empty, and she wore the same dress as the girl in the portrait. "Why are you here?" the girl whispered, her voice cold and hollow. Emma was frozen in terror. She tried to speak, but no words came out. The girl stepped closer, her eyes fixed on Emma. The room seemed to warp and twist, and the walls began to bleed a dark, thick liquid. The whispers turned into screams, and Emma felt a crushing weight on her chest. Suddenly, the girl let out a piercing scream, and everything went black. Emma woke up hours later on the cold, hard floor of the nursery. The door was wide open, and the first light of dawn was creeping through the windows. Disoriented and shaken, she stumbled out of the room, rushing down the stairs and out of the manor without looking back. When Emma returned to town, she was pale and visibly shaken. She told her editor what had happened, but he dismissed it as a dream or a hallucination brought on by fear. However, when the photos from her camera were developed, they revealed something chilling. Blurred images of shadowy figures, strange lights, and in one frame, the faint outline of a little girl standing by the rocking horse, her dark eyes staring directly at the camera. Blackwood Manor remained abandoned, its secrets buried within its decaying walls. But Emma never forgot the whispers, the shadows, or the sad, empty eyes of the little girl. And neither did anyone who heard her story, though none dared to investigate the manor for themselves. Hope you found this story thrilling.